Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to today's ALTTPR League race here on Speed Gaming number 3. Today, we are starting a new week. Today is week 6. We have ourselves a spoiler log co-piloted key sanity race. We have the match of Super Salty Dungeoneers Sawneyrath11, co-piloted by Siberian Bull, and the Cool Rush Gamers BumRushBlitz, co-piloted by Cool Papa Bell. And I am Professor Render, and joining me in the commentary booth is my good friend Arusta. How are you doing today?
I am doing very well. So, for those of you who are new to the league, what we're seeing this is week 6, which is a spoiler log co-pilot key sanity seed. So the unique thing about this seed is that essentially each one of our runners has one of their teammates who gets the spoiler log right as the game starts, and basically gets the log to say this is exactly where everything is. You just need to sort through it.
Yeah, and this will be pretty interesting to see how these runners will execute based on what their co-pilot will say in the respective booths that they are assigned to, or at least not assigned to, but in the little race in our Discord server, I would say. But we should be getting underway pretty soon.
Yeah, and one thing for those of you who are new to the league is that if you've seen previous leaks, there's been stream delays required in order to prevent stream sniping. But since this is a spoiler log seed, it is completely no delays. It's actually okay if you want to watch your opponent's stream. Can't imagine why you'd want to when you've already got someone having the log, but all that's on the table.
And we are underway, and looks like BumRushBlitz opting to go for a Houlihan strat, while Sawneyrath11 is going to head over to, appears to be, where he's going to be heading over. He's heading up north. He might be heading over to check out Agita, or anyway, just get the prize here, the tier 1 or tier 3, whatever. Some magic, and BumRush, it's going to go for that Houlihan strat for just a little bit of money.
Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense in this sort of setting, because the unique thing here is that since your co-pilot gets the seed, or gets the spoiler log right as you get go, this extra time is probably going to be used by BRB's teammate to, read the log, start planning out a route.
For sure, and Sawneyrath is going to head down to the bottom of the drop-down, thief drop-down, finding a map for Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and to answer a question in chat, no, the spoiler log is not public for anyone to see. It's in the SRL room. I'm not entirely sure about, if you wanted to get the log afterwards, you could probably contact one of the runners, after the race is done, and they'd probably send it to you, but right now it's not public.
Yeah, and Link's House having 50 rupees to add on to BumRush's 225 rupees that you would get from the Houlihan room. And Sawneyrath heading into the Kakariko village, heading over to what looks to be the well area. There's a compass for Swamp Palace, a heart piece, there's our flute, and gloves.
Yes, there's some interesting strategies here that, as far as I can tell, people have sort of come up with a couple different ways to do this. One strategy, which is what BRB sort of did, is you do something that you know is going to take time, and with the Houlihan route. The other strategy, which looks like what Sawneyrath is doing, is you do your normal checks, and maybe you're picking up stuff like that compass and map that you wouldn't really need, but it sort of buys you time, and there's a good chance you'll find something in Kakariko anyway, so it's not really losing you a ton of time.
And French Vanilla Boots hanging out on Sahasrara's closet, along with a shield. Sawneyrath heading into Blind's hut. Look like there might be something of use here. That's going to be blue mail. That's safety to have, and gain a burn in addition to that, along with the hammer.
Yeah, and as you can see, Sawneyrath skipping a couple chests there. That's sort of one of those things where you know where you have the log, so you knew that lower left chest he skipped is probably just something like rupees or arrows.
Yeah, that is one of the big things about spoilers, is that you don't really have to worry about having to just waste time on finding chests. The biggest thing about a spoiler log race, though, is you have to figure out where you have to find bombs, where you have to find arrows, where you go to replenish bombs. That's something that I personally had to experience myself, and it was not fun.
Yeah, and it's definitely also worth noting that this is key sanity, so even though, you've got the spoiler log, there's still a lot of items you need to check because, you need a swamp pile of small if you have to go through swamp, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's pretty much a carryover from what last week, which was cross keys or cross world entrance key sanity, where we do have key sanity still in effect, but seeing that Ice Rod hanging out on the back of Lion's hut.
And it is worth noting Sawneyrath did not have bombs when he was in there, so he does not actually have Ice Rod, though I'm sure he probably knows where it is.
Oh, and a hook shot too from off of the bottle vendor. This is pretty good for BumRushBlitz.
Yeah, getting both the movement items early is an advantage that really adds up the longer that your opponent doesn't have them.
And the Moon Pearl and for on the back of the tavern too. Dark World access for BumRushBlitz already, and Sawneyrath has not gone back to Kakariko. We'll be missing out quite a lot of those 3 items there, as Sawneyrath heading over to Agina's Cave and BumRushBlitz to the library and finding a big key over to Ice Palace and a bow in Agina's Cave.
Yeah, and so this is a nice subtle thing here that Sawneyrath is going to end up having to double-dick Kakariko for all that stuff, whereas BRB is going to be able to do it pretty much in one go.
And BumRushBlitz is going to activate their flutes. Sawneyrath had done that originally when they were doing their initial run through Kakariko. Seems like Sawneyrath is heading back to Kakariko right now. So, at least for Sawneyrath, that this won't be as big as a time issue, but since BumRushBlitz is heading back, has already got their stuff, they are sort of like I would put them at a little bit of a lead, but not like a substantial lead.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about this mode is that while they each have a pilot who has a spoiler log that lists every item and every item location, he's going to know what this chest contains before he opens it. You still have to sort of deal with, planning in terms of your spoiler log. You're not allowed to use any sort of like automatic logic or automatic programming or any of that. It has to be you sort of scrolling up and down and using Control F find. So you sort of have to balance, hey, how do I do this optimally, and how do I get all this information to my runner?
Yeah, this is a pretty big too. You have to do everything all by hand and not some macros or anything like that. So Sawneyrath can get the Moon Pearl, and he also got the Ice Rod in. He's still about 40 rupees short from getting their bottle vendor that hook shot. But BumRushBlitz opting to do a fake flipper. There might be something of use over on the hobo or the man underneath the bridge. There's also a red boomerang within on Sawneyrath's side, which I would personally put as one of the more better of the boomerangs because of its ability to do a lot of splash deletion. And a sword from the man underneath the bridge. That was what their co-pilot, Pavel, the co-pilot of BumRushBlitz, had noticed.
Again, so since we've got a few seconds here, so both of these teams currently are tied in their division. They both have 6 points. They are 2 and 8 right now. This is the first match between these two teams this week. I believe their second match, I don't know when that's scheduled. It'll be later in the week.
Sawneyrath gonna get the boots from out of the hospital's closet, and BumRushBlitz heading over to the Waterfall Ferry. The Eastern Palace Big Key is hanging out there. And BumRushBlitz electing to head over to Eastern Palace right away.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense with this bow. They know it's a crystal, and they've already got the big key, so it is now clearable as long as you're okay with the dark room.
Yeah, Sawneyrath also doing that fake flipper, so they're gonna get the sword and then eventually the big key to Eastern Palace from off of the Waterfall Ferry. So BumRush gonna check the first chest of Eastern. That is going to be a key for Pod.
Yeah, and one thing that's interesting to note is that BumRush did pick up the big key for Ice Palace. It's the one he got off the library. You do have to wonder, they do know that's a green pendant, whether, you know, he knows there's something in the dungeon, like in the dungeon big chest, or if that was just hadn't heard it from his pilot yet, grab it while I'm here.
Yeah, Book of Medora from off of the, I want to say the map chest. No, that's not the map chest, it's the compass chest. That's the compass chest. Map chest is coming up.
Yeah, meanwhile, Sawney gonna do the dark old man cave here.
And BumRush having to spend a little bit of time in the room because there was that other Stalfos that spawned. There is a big key to Desert Palace as well, so right away we have a little bit. We have some access into deserts, but we can't clear it just yet. And red mail, the big chest of Eastern Palace. That is very nice to find early on. Sawneyrath heading up the mountain, finding the key for the pod is the big key for pod. BumRush is opting to do the back of Eastern Palace in the dark. He might be comfortable doing this. We'll see what happens. This room is pretty irritating in the dark, but looks like he may have got the hang of it. Sawney taking a death on the mountain, like one of the more, not the most, one of the worst deaths. I would say it's like very inconvenient, but you're still in the mountain anyway, so you have that because you have that save point.
Yeah, and to answer a question in chat, someone's asking about what the priorities log are in a spoiler log, what you want your pilot to look for. I mean, it really depends. Boots, of course, and hookshot are big early, along with flute, because those are all your movement items. Beyond that, the big thing is just you want to route it in a way that makes sense. You want to minimize double dips to the extent you can. You want to get key items quickly, and you don't want to open unnecessary chests. Like you saw BRB skipped a lot of Eastern Palace because his pilot presumably told him, hey, don't bother going through that entire southern part where the vanilla big key chest is.
The Titans are in the bottom of Paradox Cave, while BumRushBlitz finding the lamp means that Fire Rod is have to be in logic somewhere. BumRush drawing first blood at 12 minutes and about 40 seconds. To answer a question to chat, the co-pilot means that they have another player, they have another one of their teammates just helping out their runner, like they run it on the screen right now, figure out, get their thoughts in place and tell them where to go and so on. Sawneyrath finding the Fire Rod on top of the top 5 chests Paradox Cave. Yeah, it's kind of like a spotter if you're familiar with NAT, with like any motorsports race. Yeah, motorsports. And signals over from the chat. Sawneyrath taking a bit of time to think about what they want to do here, and that fire rod in hand, that logically means you have to get the flutes and the hook shot to go over to Paradox Cave to get your first crystal at Eastern Palace. BumRushBlitz opted to go to the front of his cave. There's also a Quake Medallion, the first chest there. So this won't be needed because they do have the information about where what the medallions are. There's a Master Sword on the second chest, and that's Q for BumRushBlitz and Kupababel to get out of there.
Yeah, and so the interesting thing, I don't know if you've served as a co-pilot or practiced any with your team, the interesting thing being a pilot is really just figuring out how to prioritize the information you give your runner. Because one thing about this mode is that you're allowed to have like a shared Google Doc or something like that, you're allowed to talk, but you're not allowed to actually give the runner the spoiler log. So the runner is going pretty much based on what they hear from you. So if you tell them all the information, here's the entire seed at once, they're not going to retain all that. So it's nice trying to figure out how do we sort of balance it, what they need to know right now versus what they can wait for later.
Yeah, and BumRushBlitz would actually be kind of familiar in this kind of situation. It's in a way similar to this past, last year's Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament that was held on some respective channels. BumRushBlitz being the winner of that particular tournament, so he's familiar with what a co-pilot or at least a mentor kind of situation is like. Sawney heading over to Hype Cave. Looks like there might be something of use there. There's a map of Ganon's Tower, and alongside that we have a key for Dark Palace, some rupees, some bombs, and a bug net. So the only reason why Sawneyrath would want to go there was mainly to get the pod key.
Yeah, but that could also be one of those things where, like I mentioned, how, you have to control how much you tell the runner. It could be just something where he says, hey, there's something in Hype Cave, go clear it. You do that while I look at try to plot out our route for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, that is a big thing to consider when you're the co-pilots, because that means if you might be wasting more time checking more chests. And with a spoiler log, this is all about execution, and also minimizing as many checks as possible during their run. And BumRush is going to get their Titans minutes and Fire Rod, while Sawneyrath finding the flippers off the dig game. And BumRush is going to go and find that Fire Rod. There was also a bottle with a fairy inside of it. That will be that could mean there might be something on Sick Kid, depending on what the spoiler log says. But we'll have to see when they do manage to make their way over there.
It could also just be that since you already had to go there for several key items, you're already in the range. A bottled fairy is kind of a nice safety to have. It doesn't really cost you any time if you're already in the cave and right next to it.
Yeah, that's a big thing too. That's that safety, having a fairy in case you do die on something like Ganon or a boss. That's also very important. And this is especially the case too because you most likely will not be seeing a lot of hearts this particular race because they're mostly trying to minimize as many chest checks as possible, so that way they can, just for the sake of time. Sawneyrath into Skull Woods, dropping down, using another potion. That's a bottle with a red potion inside of it, and going over to the Gibdo prison place, the pot prison. There's another piece of heart there. BumRush heading over to Thievestown, not for Skull Woods. Now, I think what Sawneyrath's case here is why he would want to go and grab that red potion is just for the safety and not for anything of value. BumRushBlitz gained the key. Yes, gave him the key for the turtle. Gave him the key for turtle. The big key for Turtle Rock. Excuse me. Opting to Death Warp out. Looks like. Been quite a while with that red mail, especially too. There's also that. Okay, so it wasn't a fairy. It looked like a fairy from my side.
I thought it was a fairy as well, but maybe I glanced away for a second, looking at the other side. Maybe he let it go.
Yeah, that's also probably what happened too. In order to minimize having to waste more time having the fairy revive, he opted to release it. So that's a good insights from BumRushBlitz to let it go and let it go to the fairy, so that way you don't have to worry about it whatsoever. Sawneyrath heading to the back of Skull Woods, often to regain their first crystal. BumRushBlitz is going to get the flippers out of the dig game.
Yeah, and if you saw Sawny sort of turn around there, that is, well, I guess it's for health. I was going to say that seems like a play where his pilot said, whoa, 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 turn around, you missed something in the chest back there.
Okay, Sawneyrath heading over to the back, heading over to the back of Skull Woods right away. They'll begin their first crystal there, and opting to go a little bit farther into here because there might be something in that particular chest. Because with Key Sanity, a lot of all the dungeons have increased value. Canis Somaria in the back of Skull Woods. That's a nice find here. BumRush finding a heart container out of hammer pegs. That would be, this looks like to be the Sank heart too. Answer a question in chat about the Sprite that Sawneyrath is using. It is a can of Sprite, or in the case of the blue mail, a can of Pepsi. And when it gets red mail, a can of Coca-Cola. And BumRush is played as a Moogle.
Mog from Final Fantasy VI in particular. If anyone saw when BumRush got hit by a bunny beam, it actually turns into Celis from Final Fantasy VI as well. Bunny's right.
Yep. And Sawneyrath has spent a little bit of time here. Interesting, because Sawneyrath could have used the fire rod to get their way to get that one kill on that Gibdo. Sawneyrath on the Mafia fight right now. Mafia in particular is one of the more annoying fights in the game because of this bug where, not intended, but there's this bug where if you hit Mafila while she's up against the spikes, the game will register it as not a hit, and you have to hit Mafila when she's not being surrounded by spikes or up against the back wall or any spike wall. But that will be Sonny's first crystal.
Yes, and since BumRush is going to do about the same thing, take this chance to give everybody a quick update. So this is week 6 of the ALTTPR League here. This is a spoiler log race, which we've been mentioning over and over again. Basically, that means each runner has one of their teammates in the league, has a log which lists all the information, and they have to convey it via voice. Hey, the hammer is here. Hey, fire rod is here. Pick up this chest, skip that chest. For Sawneyrath, his teammate is Siberian Bull, and BumRushBlitz, his teammate is Cool Papa Bell.
Yeah, and it'll be probably expecting to see this the rest of the league here. Because after we're done with the spoiler log, co-pilot Key Sanity, next week will be co-op all dungeons. Ooh, BumRush taking a death on Mafila. That should give Sawneyrath a bit more time to catch up here.
Yeah, at this point, the big difference outside of that death is that BumRushBlitz has already done this check that we're seeing right now through Thieves Town. And to answer a question in chat, no, I don't believe BumRushBlitz got the red potion from the front of Skullwood.
Yeah, and that is going to be that is one of those reasons why Sawneyrath would have that. So Sawneyrath does have that red potion in hand during that Mafila fight because he was able to go there before heading over to Mafila. BumRush is going to give another attempt here on Mafila. Sawneyrath opting to head for it's going to have a waterfall fairy. So that will get him into Ice Palace. That will let him give him the big key to Eastern Palace. I got the two confused. That sounds like the signal for Sawneyrath to head over to Eastern, which is what the call is. BumRush taking another death.
Yeah, that's the thing about Mafila is even when you've got red mail, as he does, those spikes still do 1 heart of damage no matter what.
Yeah, the game, I like to consider this environmental damage because much like the spikes will do 1 heart regardless, and also things like the falling rocks on Death Mountain, they also do 1 heart of damage regardless of mail.
And one thing to note here is that the amount of magic in this room is not that much more than what you need to get through. So he's going to have a couple fire rod shots, but not a ton. So he's going to have to do it again with sort of the same stuff he's gone in with every other time.
Yeah, now Sawneyrath heading into Eastern Palace. This is actually, again, this is enough time for Sawneyrath to catch up in this race. This will get him at least up to another crystal in Eastern Palace. BumRush opting to wait a bit before dropping down because you can still get grabbed while falling down. We consider this getting 1.0 because the game, the Japanese 1.0 version of Link to the Past, which is what we use for the randomizer, never had any invulnerability when you're falling. And BumRushBlitz, third time's the charm, knocking down Mafila. That will be 2 crystals for BumRushBlitz, while Sawneyrath is heading back over to Eastern, getting that red mail. There's that Coca-Cola Sprite.
Again, it is worth noting BumRushBlitz did not get the bridge chest here, so since he knows that contains Tamari, he needs to go do that before he does anything else.
Yeah, that is correct. Sawneyrath is gonna take a bit of time here to knock down that Igor. This should be okay. This will still be okay though, regardless. That gets them over to the back of Eastern Palace. And by version 31 logic, that lamp is going to be on the Arbos Knights, because in version 31, if you're not familiar with the randomizer, the current version that we're playing on is version 31, and the Fire Rod can be used to get to the back of Eastern Palace in logic. So that Fire Rod, the Fire Rod meaning that you can get that lamp, means that the lamp can appear on Arbos Knights if it so happens. So BumRushBlitz opted to sequence break that lamp, while Sawneyrath had done it prior to going into Eastern Palace. So this will be his in-logic Arbos Knights play, while BumRush looks like headed over to Pod. There's a lamp for Sawneyrath as he gets their second crystal.
And it is worth noting that BumRush is going in with only one key and the big key, which you can theoretically finish by going right side first, but means you're going to be leaving a lot of items behind. So have to assume that BumRush either knows he's getting another key here or knows the entire left side is useless.
For sure, BumRush, yeah, it's headed over to that Bolot area, and Sawneyrath is going to follow BumRush in. So BumRush still has a slight advance, still have a slight lead over Sawneyrath, but they will be converging pretty soon. So this is still a close race.
Yeah, and this is definitely close enough that, you know, Helmasaur is generally not considered as difficult as Mothula, but it's not necessarily a super easy fight either. So, you know, a single death could really change things here.
For sure. It also depends on if Sawneyrath heads over to the left side of the Bolok side of Pod. BumRush electing to head over to Helmasaur King right away. However, keep note of Sawneyrath's pod key count. Sawneyrath might be thinking to spend a bit of time in the dungeon, as BumRush only has the one key. But Sawneyrath looking like to head over to the Bolok side. So as far as our go mode is concerned, we're still looking for either Bombos and Mirror.
And then also the Misery Mire big key.
That too, yes.
And Swamp Small.
And the all-important Swamp Small key. BumRushBlitz onto the Helmasaur King fight. So let's see what Sawneyrath will do now. Looks like Sawneyrath. Okay. Heading over to the left side, they'll give him a heart container.
Yeah, and I definitely like that call with where you're at. I mean, especially since it's a full heart container right here and now. If it was a piece of heart, maybe decide it's not worth the time, but definitely makes sense here.
Sawneyrath is continuing on. Sawneyrath is going to hit on Skullwood, small key for Sawneyrath. BumRushBlitz clearing out Helmasaur King. That will be the third crystal.
Yeah, to answer a question in chat, whenever you see one of the runners just sort of stop for a second or sort of walk in circles, that's almost certainly that their co-pilot is telling them something, and you're focusing on what he's saying and not really paying attention to the game because you're in a safe spot.
Yeah, that's the right call. So Sawneyrath continuing on through Pond. This could yield something if Sawneyrath does find something there, and BumRush has still to find the other keys necessary. 20 rupees down here, and then the other one is a small key to the dungeon. BumRush over to Ice Palace.
If you know the icebreaker glitch, I believe you can finish it from here.
And Sawneyrath finding a small key to Ganon's tower.
It is worth noting that you do have to climb Ganon's tower in this case, so even there is one key. So you do need a couple keys before you go in there, but there are enough of them in the pool that may or may not be easy to get to, or worth the time.
There's a beat up bottle for Sawneyrath, looking like Sawneyrath wanting to take a death orb of some form, and a small key to Turtle Rock, and that's pretty much all that's left here, except for the first two, like the one chest, the big key chest, and BumRush. He's opting to go for the icebreaker clip. And gets it. And there's Ether in the big key chest. That is very nice to find, especially saves a lot of time doing that icebreaker clip.
Yeah, so basically what Sawny got from the left side of Pod there was a GT small, a Turtle Rock small, and then a bottle, which is currently filled with garbage.
And a Bomba's medallion as well in Ice Palace. Both our required medallions are in Ice Palace. This is really good for BumRushBlitz. So at this point, we're still looking for that Swamp Palace small key, the big key for Mystery Mire, and a mirror. BumRush hitting the big chest of Ice Palace, a small key to Swamp Palace.
And that explains why BumRush had picked up that big key to Ice Palace when he was at the library. That was definitely some good call by the co-pilot there to let him know, hey, that's something we're gonna need.
Yeah, this is great for BumRushBlitz. This is really great. So we still can't enter Swamp Palace just yet because we're still looking for the mirror. And BumRush heading over to Desert Palace through the front because again, we don't have that mirror, so we can't really go through the back ways. We are forced to go to the front way.
And to answer a question in chat, I don't believe Sawny ever got the Ice Palace big key.
No, he has not.
Because the first time Sawny went through there, he did not have boots. And I don't think he's been back to Kakariko since getting boots.
Alright, in Desert Palace for BumRushBlitz, there is a big key for Mystery Mire.
Yeah, the Ice Palace big key is in the library to answer a question. BumRushBlitz had routed it so he had boots before he went to Kakariko at all. Sawny went to Kakariko first, therefore didn't have boots.
So this is great news for BumRushBlitz, and now he's heading over to the back of Desert Palace. In that Mire big key, all what's left for BumRushBlitz is to find that mirror, and they are good to go for the Cool Rush gamers.
Mirror and then a few Turtle Rock small keys.
Yeah, that's true. That's correct. There is a Turtle Rock small key in Pod, but BumRush opted to not go for it, but because he only had that one key at the time of going into pod.
Yeah, so you have to figure at this point, this is one of those cases where, you know, your co-pilot knows he can sort of let you go. You're going to just finish this dungeon. You got a couple minutes to search the log and figure out what's the best way to route in the keys I still need.
Very much true. BumRush, on to the Lamboa's fight. And Sonny also heading to Desert Palace. He's gonna get that Meyer big key. Now Sawneyrath still has not gone over to Ice Palace to get both of their medallions and the Swamp House small key. So we'll see what happens after Sawneyrath finishes, and Lambo is only giving out a map to Skull Woods, I think it said. That's another crystal to BumRush's name.
And Sawney's checking the right side here, which is interesting. BumRush did not check this, I don't believe.
And it didn't yield anything. That's still more time on BumRushBlitz. Just adding on more time because of Sawneyrath's checks here. Meyer Shed, having a heart container and a small key for Skull Woods.
Yeah, I have to figure that was probably just a, hey, there's a heart container here if you need it. And BumRush said, I'll get that. Because the small wood skull doesn't really do anything for him.
Yeah, this is pretty considerable. Sawneyrath opting to get the 300 rupees off the torch.
I mean, I actually think that's, if you're worried about your health later in the seat, that's a fairly defensible decision. That's basically 2 blue potions, and you've got the flute, so it's easy to fill up.
Looks like BumRushBlitz missed an enemy doing the NMG strats going through this first room of Meyer, also known as Meyer 2. I think that's the name of that particular room.
Yeah, Meyer 2 is the name of that room with all the whiz robes and popos.
Yeah, that's what I figured, yeah.
And it is one of a surprisingly difficult room to learn about.
Oh, the beer over on BumRushBlitz side in the big chest of Misery Meyer.
And that answers the question of why BRB did not try to route in both Meyer and Desert together, because you can't. Because that was in the big chest, which he got the big key in Desert.
BumRush bit of time to let his co-pilot let the co-pilot do what he wants. Actually realizing that you really don't need a key for Misery Meyer because there is that key pot. There's a key underneath a pot, and then you can just get over to Misery Meyer, no problem, because the rest of the dungeon is keyless. Sawneyrath was trying to do the fire rod strat. Looks like the Lamboas did not agree with Sawneyrath's plays, but gets the 1 cycle for Sawneyrath. That's another crystal to Sawneyrath's name.
Meanwhile, BRB showing off the spooky glitch there in Meyer. Very nice.
Yeah, it saves a lot of time saves a lot of time long term, and it's really good for BumRush to know this. It's It's a trick that messes with the splash damage of the fire rod. It's really complicated for me too. It's a really complicated glitch that I have that I am not going to explain, because if I do, I'm probably going to get something wrong about it.
Yeah, it's difficult to explain, but actually in terms of pulling it off, it is not actually all that difficult to figure out. I mean, it requires a little bit of practice, but it's not too difficult. For those of you who haven't learned it yet, go to check the ALTTPR wiki. There is a nice Wikipedia put together by Trinex and a few others, which explains all these small glitches.
Oh, Sawneyrath was over in Ice Palace, and is actually leaving. This is gonna be painful for Sawneyrath, because there is those two medallions hanging out there, along with the swamp small. And yeah, actually, this is actually realizing that he doesn't have the big key, so he's heading back for the big key right now. And there's a shovel on Vitreous, and that's another crystal. Sawneyrath is gonna get that big key from up the library, and that's actually, I think what was going on there was Sawneyrath's co-pilot was telling him, "Hey, don't go in there just yet. You don't have the big key. There's something important there." And now Sawneyrath was heading into Ice Palace. BumRush, meanwhile, taking a detour over to Checkerboard Cave. And there's another big key, and I'm assuming this has to be the
Cannon's Tower?
Big key. Yeah, that's the GT big key. That's the only thing that's left. But of course, BumRush still needs to find Turtle Rock small keys.
Yeah, and while we've got a few seconds here, just wanted to toss out, for those of you who are not following either of these runners, definitely give them a follow. Both, I mean, I know BumRush pretty well from the Mentor tournament, and I've heard good things about Sawneyrath as well. They're definitely worth a follow. Give them both a follow. You're watching here on Speed Gaming channels, Speed Gaming 3 in particular. My name is Arusta. My co-com is Professor Render. And a lot of thanks to our tracker Math Girl for pushing all the buttons and keeping us in check.
Yeah, Math Girl is is a big one here. She's the unsung hero, being that particular tracker, because if we didn't have a tracker, we wouldn't know what items that these runners would have. Sawneyrath now into Ice Palace, BumRush going into Swamp Palace. BumRush suddenly opting to go the normal way. They might not be comfortable with Icebreaker, which explains why they are not going for the Icebreaker clip.
Yeah, but in terms of time spent in Ice Palace, not just the fact that Sawneyrath is going to have basically double dipped it, but also Icebreaker versus where BumRush was able to basically get all three chests very simply, whereas the way Sawneyrath is going to do it, that's a huge time difference there. It's subtle, but it adds up.
Yeah, and that subtle time difference is plenty of fuel for BumRush to keep pulling away from Sawneyrath. Okay, so BumRush is heading to, let's go head to the back here of Swamp Palace. Of note that BumRush did not get the Swamp Palace big key. There might not have been some importance there, and looking like BumRush wanted to do the other more recent glitch that was unbanned by the Racing Council alongside Icebreaker. And this is particular Diver Down. and he's looking to do it all in one go. Here, using the Samaria strap. A bit of pause buffering to get him into the corner. So not getting it. I need to push it a bit, yeah. Or reset it. Now this could be Sawneyrath's if BumRush takes way too much time on this diver down. This will give Sawneyrath a bit more time to for him to catch up. I don't usually do the right side, and I typically do the left side, which is mostly a one frame buffer to down a pixel, down a frame, and that's down one, and that's one pixel, and that's how you, and there's BumRush doing the diver down, and what it is just a heart container. So that's all if you really wanted to get out of that is that heart container. Spent a bit of time doing that though, which gave Sawneyrath a bit more time to come back here. This is the Swamp House small key for Sawneyrath.
Yeah, so at this point, because of that unfortunate double dip, BumRushBlitz is basically a full Ice Palace and a full Mire ahead.
Yes.
Or excuse me, a full Swamp Palace is what I meant. Swamp Palace and Mire.
Yeah. Yes. So Swanee is hitting the Mire right away. It looks like Swanee was going to take trying to think of what he wants to do. Looking at Copilot might be telling him just to, if he needs that heart container, go for it. And Sawneyrath is saying doesn't need that heart container, and is instead going into Mire. And that's Argus down for BumRushBlitz. Drop it a map to Eastern Palace. There's another crystal. So at this point in time, BumRush really needs to find some Turtle Rock small keys to progress on with this seed. And I believe the minimum that he really needs to find is what, two small keys?
Yeah, I think you need 3 small keys in Turtle Rock, and I believe you need 2 in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, two in minimum. So, you can at least have one. There is that small key that the mini Humasar drops. Oh, you know, it really needs. Oh, looks like our tracker is telling us that you don't really need any keys for GTA, but instead you can just steal a key and you'll be good to go.
Okay, you steal that pot key and that's all you need. Interesting. Thank you.
So BumRush opting to go and get that blue boomerang off the top of Spectacle Rock and go into the Tower of Hera. Just to look for some some Turtle Rock small keys. And BumRush opted to do a Hera pod.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense, because with the Hera big key, he can go upstairs normally, but this is actually quicker.
Yeah, as it lets BumRush get to the top of Tower of Hera without a problem. I think his intention is either to go fight Moldorb or check the big chest. And I think his intention is the big chest.
Yeah, with the way BRB has routed and not picked up many extraneous chests. Yep, I was gonna say, I would bet it's the big chest, because he has not done a lot of useless stuff thus far.
BumRush was going to climb up the tower again, but then realized, okay, we don't need to spend a little bit more time here. We got the Turtle Rock Small, and that's all. And that means BumRush is going to head over to the Turtle Rock area right now. For all we know, BumRush could have found there might be Turtle Rock Small keys just hanging about inside Turtle Rock. Sawneyrath is on the Victorious fight. This will be Sawneyrath is opting to take a slower approach and doing some spin strats on the small eyes of Vitreous.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to be careful here with only 2 hearts.
Yeah, a death here would be catastrophic for Sawneyrath. And that... that is what I'm talking about. That small... That death from Sawneyrath is big. And that's a big problem. This gives BumRushBlitz more time. Yes, and it's also noticeable that Sawneyrath seemed to be favoring bomb strats, and is now out of bombs, so we'll be doing the second run here is going to be using strats, which he seems to not prefer. Yeah, it's actually down to 1 bomb. That's why he stopped doing the bomb strats there. And there is a small key for this dungeon, so that's what the eye is for BumRushBlitz. So, at least, so as long as that there's a key in Laser Bridge, BumRush should be in go mode. Or maybe just that 1 key from the pokey is enough. And there's a tempered sword from the what I consider to be the worst room in this entire game, the chain jump room. Because those chain jumps hurt so much. They arguably take the most damage out of the entire game if you're not careful. That or Ganon.
And one thing our tracker pointing out in chat, because our tracker as well as us has the spoiler log, is that the other sword, which we won't be seeing, is located on Catfish. And at this point, since neither of them have grabbed it to this far, clearly BumRushBlitz is not going to, and if Sawney was going to grab it, you have to figure they would have done it sooner.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But BumRush continuing the trek, and Sawney taking a lot of damage on their way over to Vitreous. Was trying to catch a fairy there by powdering it, or at least I think.
No, that's the stun prize. Apparently, is the fairy.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense for Sawneyrath to go and catch that fairy.
And that explains, I guess, why he went out of his way to grab. Slightly out of his way to grab the bug nut.
Oh, and the silver arrows are in the big chest of Turtle Rock. This will be a pretty quick Ganon fight as soon as we're done here. And at this point in time, all is left for BumRush is to find that other Turtle Rock Small. And that'll be able to go into Tridex, and that'll put him in the go mode. Oh, Sawneyrath's taking that death, but he did have the fairy. He's got 2 fairies, in fact. So that'll be the first fairy that he pops here. But at this point, there should be plenty for Sawneyrath to finish this off. BumRush on the way over to the laser bridge. I think he's stopping here. Okay, so that is going to be go mode for BumRushBlitz. He did find the small key and is...
Looks like maybe going to take the safety exit just in case.
Yeah, this is fair for BumRush. This is fair. Does not want to take a death on Trinex for sure, and have to do the entirety of Turtle Rock, like up until the big chest. That is. This makes tons of sense, and I think BumRush is okay. He's gonna get another heart container, which is fair. I'm wondering if so BumRush is gonna take a death here to refill his health. This is also fair for BumRush. So Sawneyrath, let's see what where Sawneyrath might be heading to. Looks like he's heading over to Thieves Town. So curious what his intentions are. I think it's just to get one of the keys there.
Guess it has to be, because at this point, I'm not sure what else we could see here that would really, you'd go out of your way for.
It's you're right, it's the big key for Turtle Rock. That's right. I completely forgot about that. But that is going to be Trinex down for BumRushBlitz. So we did get that big key for Turtle Rock because this is key sanity. So we're not going to be running the game or the bots. So this will be. So as far as BumRushBlitz is concerned, all is left is he's got to keep it going here all the way to GT. So Sonny is going to get the big key for Ganon's Tower from off of the checkerboard cave. So at this point in time for BumRushBlitz, he's got the 7 crystals in hand, and doesn't have 21 chests of the torch that separates him from getting the big key and completing the seed. But instead, he's got a gauntlet of bosses to clear out so that he can finish the seed. So without further delay, let's do this.
Yeah, and really at this point, there's not even much he could get in the way of safeties, since we know the 4th sword he's not going to get. He's already got, I guess half magic would be the only thing that's even out there, or if there's a pre-filled bottle right on the way.
Yeah, and it would have to be up the tower too, because it won't be in the basement of GT that BumRush will be opting to go for. So that is the 2 mimic rooms down for BumRushBlitz. Sawneyrath going to be going to Swamp Palace and going to be clearing that one out before heading over to Turtle Rock and getting the rest of the keys necessary to finish off the seed. But at the moment, BumRushBlitz is in the driver's seat, and we will probably gain another win on the board for the Cool Rush gamers. To answer a question in chat about the Silver Arrow location, it was in the Thieves Town, the Turtle Rock bid chest. almost through here. BumRush having a bit of trouble in this gauntlets room. He's got a few more gauntlet rooms to get through before heading over to Wizardrobes 1 and 2, one of my favorite rooms in the entirety of the game, because of how satisfying each one is with having the cancer bar in hand. BumRush setting up for the 1, 2, 3 cycle, missing that first shot there, the second shot rather, on the Lamb-Molest. But just one more to go, and that is it.
Yeah, and it is worth noting, I've noticed, as BumRush has been opening his menu, he does have a blue potion, so between red mail, 11 hearts, and a blue potion, with silvers, you have to think his Ganon fight he'll be able to handle. Won't need to go out of his way at all.
For sure, and this will be great news for BumRushBlitz, because he really could just set up for Torch Glitch and he'll be fine. But does not get the 1 cycle for Wizardrobe 2, but opting to go for just having another cycle going for BumRushBlitz. Now the torches 1 as Sawneyrath starts the Argus fight. That's what will put Sawneyrath a little bit closer to finishing his seed out. BumRush needs to be a little bit careful here. He does not want to despawn the sprite. Does not despawn the sprites, and is using the torch here to using the fire rod or the lamp here to save as much time, save as much magic as possible. Sawneyrath is opting to go for hammer strats on Argus instead of going for the. It's interesting because you can do spin strats with the temp of the Master Sword. BumRush onto Moldor 2, and now is with a slash to the spin. Down goes Moldor 2. Have to do a menu to get over to that hook shot. Just one menu though. This will be okay. And yeah, Rubis, we don't really, there's nothing in GT looks like, so, the top of GT, so we'll be running with masks with temper swords, silvers, and red mail, with no half magic to his name. On to Aga 2. Looked like that was 2 hits there.
Yeah, it looked like that was a double. The third one definitely missed, but the first 2 hit almost at the same time, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's another 1 cycle. There's another 1 here. Yeah, that looked like that was a double. It's like kind of forced.
Yeah, so 2, 1, 1, 2.
So, BumRush now has to fight Ganon for finishing off the seed once and for all.
Sawneyrath looked like gonna go up the east side of Death Mountain, then turned around. Presumably that was the co-pilot, Siberian Bull, reminding him that he needs to get something from Tower of Hera.
BumRushBlitz onto the Ganon fight now. This will be a pretty bog standard Ganon fight as well. Going for some spin strats just to get a bit more damage out. And BumRush got himself into a good corner here. And a really good place to set up so that way he can get as many hits as possible. He's going to have to use some hook shots to get some iframes going. Onto phase 3. More hits there, it'll be good to go. 1 more hit, and then all that's left is to get to phase 4. Silver is Ganon's true weakness onto phase 4. going to be setting up a torch glitch here, which is fair because of the lack of half magic. That's 2 hits. Another hit. That'll be one more hit. Oh, didn't have enough time there, but it's got torch glitch, so it won't be a big deal, and that should do it here. Get your GGs in chat for BumRushBlitz, and all is left to finish off the seed is across the 1x3 bridge, and they will be getting another win for the Cool Rush gamers, and they will be doing so, finishing first place on the restream, or first place with an official national time of 1:09:12. This will bring Cool Rush Split Gamers up to 9 points on the board.
And we're going to see if we can get them in here for a quick interview. Meanwhile, Sawneyrath is going through the Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and what really came down to it was that there was doubts on Vitreous, and then Sonny checked a few more chests when BumRush decided to just hang to wait a bit, just not conserve a bit of his chest checks, and don't check any chests when he knows that there's nothing of use there, and that was what gave BumRushBlitz their victory. Or Cool Rush Gamers their victory. Sawneyrath continuing their trek through Turtle Rock, and we're joined by BumRushBlitz. We'll begin co-piloting pretty soon, but GG, man.
Cool. Yeah, thanks.
No, it's nice to it's been a while since we talked, huh?
Yeah, right.
But what were your thoughts on this particular scene, even though this was a spoiler alert?
Honestly, the item locations were super generous. Like the route, I mean, I'll give complete credit to Cool Popper for this, but he routed it almost perfectly, you know, where everything just kind of led into the next thing, and you know, occasionally I was like, oh, I'll get a couple of extra heart containers because they're on the way to something, but I thought it was super generous.
Yeah, the way you routed it was very appropriate too, because the way that you and Pavabella decided to deal with her is that you didn't bother to check any chests that didn't have anything of use, but you did stop to get some heart containers on the way to on the way over to the next dungeon or the next item location, which makes tons of sense because typically when you're doing spoiler rock races, you have to figure out you gotta find a lot of safeties or hearts and whatever. And we're also joined by the co-pilot of BumRushBlitz, Cool Pavabella. GG.
Yeah, GG's, thanks. This was a lot of fun and incredibly nerve-wracking.
I can't say I don't blame you. It's definitely very nerve-wracking when you have two minds up against if you have one mind against each other with the co-pilot, and this is honestly one of my this is a fun mode. I would say this week will be quite fun.
Yeah, these last 2 weeks are kind of the main reason why I wanted to do the league, just because these are so different from what you normally run that they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's also it's fun having a scene for a change, especially after doing the cross keys. That's under an hour and 10 minutes. It's fun having a seed that I feel like I'm just zooming through again.
Yeah, so one thing we noticed on the restreamer side is that you guys seem to have a really good job, you know, routing through. You didn't make a lot of unnecessary checks, all that. So
Right,
how did you guys think through and practice all that?
I'll give all the credit to Cool Papa. Like, he was like, okay, go here. And I mean, oftentimes it's like, oh, let's go do these things. I'm like, do I need to check this? And then he'll be like, oh, no, let me check real quick. No, you don't. And then that's like how our mentality was working. But most of it was just Cool Papa. He was looking ahead. It's like, okay, you need to go here. This item's here. And like, even like at one point near the end, I was like, oh, wait a minute, we don't have GT big key yet. And he's like, oh, no, I got that covered. It's over here. Don't worry about it. Like, he had it all taken care of. It was really awesome.
Yeah, one thing that was really nice with this seed was we had that bow early on, and so I looked for the EP big key as well, so I could basically just be like, okay, BumRush, go just full clear Eastern, give me 4 minutes to think and figure some stuff out, and then I'll get back to you. So whenever you can do that, it's really nice on the pilot side.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I felt like the seed was really generous. I mean, you just got half of what you needed in Kakariko, and then it was basically like, okay, then go to Death Mountain and clear out all of Paradox Cave, and then it was just kind of tracking down keys for the rest of it.
Yeah,
actually,
on top of boots being accessible like right off of that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, since you mentioned Kakariko, that was one thing, just I'm sure when you guys watch the restream, you'll notice, is that Sawneyrath basically headed straight to Kakariko, while BRB, you instead did a early Houlihan play.
Yeah.
What was your thought behind that?
We actually talked about this beforehand. We just thought that it would be good to do an early Houlihan because you get that money, which will help to do, all the necessary checks later on. You'll need the money. But it also gives Cool Papa Belt, the co-pilot, a little bit of leeway in the beginning to just look at immediate things. And so since I did that, he was able to see that boots were over in Sahasrahla, and then, we got boots early, and then that just made everything else easier at that point. Houlihan's just a good way to give like a 2-minute breather to the co-pilot,
Yeah, and then you've got options after that, right? Because you can buy bombs and either go to Saha, you can go into Hyrule Castle, which we almost did, except we found another sword somewhere else and then went back for that one later. You can go South Shore with those bombs. Like, you got a lot of options after that first Houlihan, so... and I think we actually stole that one from Kern and Walter, if I remember correctly, or Kern and somebody. So, we can't take too much credit for that.
Knowing Kern and Walther, both of them probably would say they're happy that people are taking their strategies. They're both really good guys, really want to help in the community.
Got to see these fantasy stats here coming up for BumRush too.
14 bumps, 4 deaths, and a collection rate of 75.
Yeah, the 75 is real low.
So this is a spoiler log, so it's to be expected, especially when you have a co-pilot. So it's very, very low.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, since we just saw those deaths, I wanted to ask. I know BumRush, you took a couple unfortunate deaths there on Moth.
Right.
What were you thinking at that time? And is it something where your co-pilot sort of like we did in the mentor tournament would sort of say, "Hey, chill out, we've got this, keep you steady"?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think I got too tilted at it. Like, I was like, God damn, you get a little tilted when you die, not only once but twice on the same exact boss. But I think I kept a pretty calm mind, and then once I beat Moth, it didn't really. I kind of was able to push it behind me.
Yeah, the Vidi fight was the one where I was the most scared, but that was really nice just because that Master Sword fight is such a pain without the right safeties.
For sure.
Did you guys consider at all? The third sword was on Catfish. Did you guys consider at all going over to get it, or just consider it too much?
We did consider Catfish, but I kind of decided that it's going out of the way just for that one sword, when the other sword was in Turtle Rock and we knew that. I was tempted to just leave it because I'd be getting one in my path already,
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and that's sort of what we figured.
Yeah, it just felt like there was no good time to route it in. Like, if we had to go back up for, I don't know what, Graveyard Ledge or something like that, maybe it would have been worth it, but the closest we ever got was Skull Woods, so it just didn't ever feel really worthwhile.
Yeah, and I'd just like to shout out as we're watching and having this interview here that Sawneyrath has done a pretty good job running through the gauntlet here. Very nice and efficient on his way up.
Oh no, he didn't get the key. No, he doesn't need the key.
I do have to own up to one screw up though, which was that I forgot that Hera was a pendant when I told BumRush to go get the Hera big key, but I was mostly looking at that Turtle Rock key anyway. So, but that back of escape trip might have been optional, but I don't know. We would have had to get more pod keys to get the other Turtle Rock key out of pod. So, can't be perfect.
Yeah, and that's actually what Sawneyrath did. Was he did the full left through pod and got basically a pod key there was a pod key in there, and then he got a Turtle Rock and a GT small.
Yeah, and we talked about doing the left side of pod, but we kind of figured the extra heart was worth it and would be about as much time as doing left, so.
Yeah, so Sawneyrath is now onto the Ganon flight.
I gotta say, watching your partner do a Ganon fight in the pilot seed is like the most nervous I've ever been at the end of a seed. Because I have nothing to do but stare at the IRC channel and see if the other team is gonna dot done.
Yeah, as the racer, you get the luxury of you have to focus on the fight. But as the pilot, what else do you have to do? And you're like, oh, well, let's see if they happen to win 2 seconds before.
Phase 3 for Sawneyrath11.
Wait, you're allowed to watch the restream?
Yeah.
Only this week.
Yeah. Well, that could change things.
Dang it, I checked the rules actually to see if there was an exception in there for spoiler week. Because I know there was one for the regular spoiler tournament, so I guess I should have asked.
Well, now you know for your next race.
Yeah, there we go. There's a lot more exciting this way.
Yeah, for sure. No torch goes for Sawneyrath shouldn't matter though, so that's silver arrows. That's it though. Get your GG's in chat for Sawneyrath11. And we will be we'll get an official time for you all. Just with one more, just with at least the last silver arrow shot remaining, and so Sawneyrath will finish second with an official SRL time of 1:22:31. And scene. It's Sawneyrath11 in for an interview along with Siberian Bull, the co-pilot. Hello, you two. GG. Sawneyrath11 is Siberian Bull 9.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so what did you think about this seed as a whole?
I wish I told him to go to ice before we went to desert. That's my one regret. That's my one regret.
Totally fair.
So, how'd you guys decide to do your opening? Because that's one thing, and you'll see this when you guys watch the restream, is that, so BumRushBlitz basically took the first 2 minutes to do a Houlihan play and get money, whereas I know Sawneyrath, you sort of went straight to Kakariko like a standard opening. What were your thought processes behind that?
Well, we were trying to find the bombs initially because of what was pretty much going to be there. What our two main bombable objectives were going to be, because Blind Hut was going to have our ice rod, and we saw Agina was going to have one of our bows.
Yeah, and having the knowledge on both of those led to trying to get them as quickly as possible. Now, Houlihaning had crossed my mind, but I don't know the water setup for Houlihan too terribly well. And because of that, I'm actually not very good at it. So the only Houlihan setup I really know how to do quite well is bombing into the grave that leads to the back of the skate.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And we were watching as you were checking chess, and it definitely seemed like you guys had pre-planned that you were going to spend the first couple minutes just doing a normal Kakariko play to give your co-pilot some time to sort of make a plan.
Which is pretty much what happened, because as soon as I saw that bow, I asked myself immediately, okay, where was the Eastern Big? And then I saw what was in Eastern. And as soon as I saw where that hook shot was, I had to yell at him to go up the mountain as soon as possible.
He did. He actually did. And it was like, okay. I have the bird. I'm going up the mountain. Just stop. I'm going. It basically ended up being like that.
Nice.
Okay, so any final thoughts on the sea? Because we need to wrap things up here.
I'd just like to give shout-outs to the both needed medallions and the Swamp Small Key and Pendant Ice Palace.
Right? I was telling... Right?
Yeah.
I was saying how I wished I sent him to ice before we went into desert, because it would have been in one straight go from there.
Any thoughts from me? Shoutouts to Vitreous, because Vidi killed me.
Oh no.
Yeah, and that was pretty much, that was a lot of fuel for BumRush to pull away during that race.
Oh yeah, as soon as it happened,
also-
I knew we were done.
Also, shoutouts to Mothula because he killed me twice.
Oh jeez!
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did not have a fun time with Moth today.
And the other way around, it was pretty much the other way around. It puts you and Sawneyrath closer. Which, talk about irony.
So if I have any final thoughts, is 12 hours from now, 3 of the 4 of us will be back here.
For sure.
Yep.
Alright, GG's to both of you.
GG's.
Yeah, GG's. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for the interview. Just an update for everybody else. If you're looking for some more randomizer action right now, it started at 9 o'clock, so they might be sort of near the end. Clown Parade versus 16-bit Nerds on Speed Gaming 5. And then that is the last race for tonight. That one started at 9, so they're probably fairly close to done right now. Starting tomorrow, we've got races starting at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. These two teams, Super Salty Dungeoneers and Cool Rush Gamers, are having the second match of their week, which will be at 8:30 p.m., currently scheduled for Speed Gaming 5. My name is Arusta. Thank you very much to Speed Gaming 3 for hosting us here. Thanks to Math Girl for doing a great job tracking, my co-commentator, Professor Renderer, and definitely give our runners a follow, and thank you everybody for staying here.
Thank you very much. And now to wait for Valorant to come out to start the closed beta, and then I can start playing that. And so take it easy, everybody.